Welcome to my new craft room. I have all sorts of organizing ideas to share with you today. I have solutions from IKEA, Stamp & Storage, Amazon, garage sales, all sorts of fun finds. But first, let's take it all the way back to the beginning. Here's a look at this space completely gutted and ready to renovate. You can see great lighting from the windows, but only one light in the ceiling, so it gets dark at night. I have plans to take all of this out. We're going to add more lighting in the ceiling here. We're going to take all the sheetrock off. I want to add more electrical outlets down here. You can see I need to paint, but we are taking all the sheetrock off down to the studs, so that's not really an issue. I've got 3 windows, but we're going to change those out. So what I'm thinking is this smaller window here, we're going to eliminate that. That will give me more wall space right here with that gone, and then we'll possibly make this one bigger. Here is my hubby hard at work hanging up the new sheetrock after putting in tons of electrical outlets. You can never have too many electrical outlets. I wanted to show you this clip because you'll see how my husband's 6'1", so we have a very low ceiling on this end of the roof, which is going to kind of cause some problems for me in the design process. Not major problems, but I'll share those with you later in the video. Oh, what a blessing to be married to a handyman. So you can't see, but there are a ton of electrical outlets all across the bottom, which will be very handy. Now this window, we made it shorter. It used to be longer. It was down to this level here, but I'm going to put a standing desk and I didn't want it in front of this window. So that is a change. We got rid of this window, and then this window's much bigger, giving us a lovely view of the outdoors. Now I have plans to put 6 lights in the ceiling altogether. We put in 2 just to test them out and see how we like them. So they are recessed and they do have kind of a little filter over them. These are from Lowe's. So we'll put 2 more over here, then the center, and then 2 more right here. Mike is almost done hanging the sheetrock. He's got just 1 more piece, maybe a piece and a half left to go. And I just want to make note here, check out his cool new outfit. Why don't you tell us about that outfit?
I had to have it to build this scrapbook room.
Yeah, it's very justifiable. So he's got this nice little suspender thing going on here with his tool bags. I must say you're looking pretty legit, like a professional.
Looks are deceiving.
All right, carry on. My husband and I love to tease each other, but in my defense, he did say he needed that tool belt in order to get this job done. I'm like, hey, if that's all you need, go for it, right? So let's go ahead and turn the camera around. We'll take a quick pan around of the room, and then we'll start diving into my different organizing solutions. That is the doorway where you would enter the craft room from the main part of the house. There's Dave up there keeping a watchful eye. He's always making sure I'm staying on task. I am going to give you a quick pano of the entire space, and then we will get an in-detailed look at each of my organizing solutions. So that is where I store most of my albums, on those shelves. I still need to paint them, but hey, project for another day. So this was a closet. Originally, this was a bedroom. We have a very tiny house, and this was the only room in the house. So at one point, I have 2 children, and at one point, all 4 of us shared this room. Not for very long. My husband and I had our bed. There was a toddler bed and a crib while we were building on. And you know what? We made it work. I wouldn't trade it for anything. So later, when we built on, the boys shared this space. And now that they have moved out, it has become my craft room. And I absolutely love it. There's my border collie, Moss. Mr. Handsome Boy. He's always laying right in the middle of the floor though, and I tend to run him over with my wheelie chair. You think he'd find a better spot, but I just really love having his company in here. So we're almost back around. There's little David again, and back to the front door. Although I do enjoy all sorts of crafting activities, I am a paper crafter, and most of my content here on my channel is scrapbooking related. I do enjoy making cards, but my videos are typically scrapbooking tutorials. So with all of those scrapbook layouts, I need a lot of albums. So I dedicated this closet space. We just put some open shelves in here, and it's just strictly for album storage. So like I said, still need to paint these, but project for another day. And if you caught my previous craft room tour, I have another craft room tour here on my channel when I was in my space before moving into this room. And that was really about making the most out of a small area. It was an 8x7 room, but I really only had the use of 2 walls. So if you are in a small space and you're looking to make the most out of every square inch, then definitely check out that video and you might find some helpful tips. I bring it up because in that video I talked about why my albums are all in black. As paper crafters, most of us love color, but I have run into over the years, you start going with a certain album and then they discontinue it because the seasons come and go and the trends come and go, and then you can no longer get those albums. Now you might be okay with a whole bunch of eclectic colors of albums, but I just wanted something uniform, so if I want to put those in my living room or anywhere, black is a neutral color. It's always going to go, oh bless you Dave, he's sneezing up there, and I just won't run into that problem because even if they do discontinue them and I have to go with a different album company, I will still be able to find a black album. So these are all holding 12x12 scrapbook layouts, and then you can see on the spine there, I have those labeled and I create those with heat transfer vinyl and iron those on using my Cricut and my heat press, and I just put the year. I do 1 album per year, so there's lots of albums plus vacation albums and special occasions. Moving on to the main shelving unit in my room. This is actually made of some garage sale finds and an IKEA shelf, and I put them together and I do think they look quite nice together. So it provides a perch for Dave up there, but more importantly, most of my crafting supplies are stored here, from papers to dies. We've got embossing folders, my stamp collection, lots of fun goodies to explore. But let's take it over to my blending brushes. Now I'm going to tell you, you do not need this many blending brushes. I recommend that you have 1 per color family. When I worked with Close to My Heart, I had the opportunity at the end, I had some extra Close to My Heart cash, so I stocked up on things. So I do have 1 per color, ink pad color, but what I want to show you here is how I organize or store these. These are command hooks, and I have a little book ring or key ring on there, so that's separate. So these just stick right to the bookshelf. You put the little ring on there. These are all from Amazon, and then the blending brushes stay right in there. So I had to make the most of vertical storage in my tiny craft room and came up with this solution. I forget where I saw it. I think a scrapbooking group on Facebook, and it has been perfect for my blending brushes. I want to show you this little sign here. This is so funny. This was a gift from my mother-in-law. It says, "Welcome to my woman cave," also known as the scrapbooking room. And what I love about this is the cat is scrapbooking, but the cat is also drinking coffee. And if you're a regular here on my channel, you know that is absolutely perfect for me. So let's move over to check out my paper storage here. I've been paper crafting for well over 20 years, so during that time I've had the opportunity to try lots of different paper organizing solutions. The vertical option is by far my favorite. This is all of my cardstock, or at least part of it. I do have another section of cardstock on the other side of the bookshelf, but I use these envelopes. Now, these are from Close to My Heart, which, if you don't know, Close to My Heart has since closed up shop, sadly, but you can get these exact envelopes on scrapbook.com. So I have each of these labeled 1 per color, and then all I have to do is pull it out, and you can see on this side I have scraps in that color, and on the opposite side I have the full 12x12. So if I want a fresh sheet or a whole sheet, I just pull from the back side of the envelope. If I need a scrap, I can reach in and pull from the scrap side. So they're all labeled with my label maker there, nothing fancy, just a quick little label, and this has been working for me for several years, and like I said, I love it. These envelopes are nice and sturdy, so they keep your paper straight. That's one thing you have to be mindful of when you're storing it vertically. If your envelopes aren't rigid enough, it can kind of bow and the paper will warp. Now you can flatten it out when you put it back into your album, but it's best to keep your paper, nice and flat as the way it was intended to be. And these do protect it from dust as well. Below my paper, moving down the bookshelf, I have these little clear acrylic organizer drawers. These are from HomeGoods or let's see, TJ Maxx. You can find these types of things at either of those stores, or even Amazon has these, and they're kind of made for, you see them advertised for jewelry or cosmetics or bathroom, like they'll have Q-tips, things like that. So they're quite handy for just little randomness, and you can see through them, so that's kind of nice. It's organized, but you can see what you have. Now, what I don't like about these, I used to have them on a shelf where they actually fit pretty well. I'll show you that later, but these are only about 5 inches deep, and my shelf is probably close to 14 inches deep. So behind there is a ton of wasted space. So this is going to change. We recently moved the shelves around, and originally when I painted it, it had the shelves in place and it was a brown wood. So I need to repaint that now that I've moved the shelves, but we'll catch that when we paint my album shelf over there. Below that, we have more paper storage, also vertical, and this is all of my pattern paper. Let me just get down here, and these are 12 by 12 holders, paper holders that I order on Amazon. I will leave those listed in the description box below. And then these are my pattern paper collections. I'm actually in the process of going through all of my pattern paper and better organizing it so that I can utilize it. So I do have some of these labeled. These are mix-ins by color. So what mix-ins are they are like a neutral pattern, if you will. They don't have a strong theme to them. They're like maybe stripes or polka dots. Something you can mix in with just about anything. And I have those by colors. So pinks and purples. And then I've got like teals and greens and black and whites, grays, blues, all the different color families there. So I can just reach for those if I need a particular pattern paper in a certain color. I have some very obvious themes, papers that are very easy to organize, but these are all going to be, I'm kind of sorting through them. They're going to be like everyday life, florals. I'll show you my other categories when we move over to the other bookshelf. So here's some birthday and wedding papers, ocean and tropical, and I have different envelopes in here. So these are from Amazon. I'll show you those a little bit later. And they're not as sturdy as the big thick envelopes, but they seem to be doing the trick, and I've got my paper collections in those. So moving down, on the next shelf, we have these clear acrylic bins. Now this was a really good find. So these have straight sides, and anyone who's looked at acrylic bins knows that most of them are wider at the top than they are at the bottom, which makes them kind of a nuisance to fit if you're very limited on space. So these are great. They're I think 7 inches. I don't know the exact dimensions. I'll put them on the screen right here. Anyway, also from Amazon. And what I have in here are some packs of mix and match ephemera. These are kind of grab and go packs if I want to make some cards really quick. They have all sorts of bits and pieces in there, and then some sentiments. So I have those in envelopes. And then I have my 6x6 paper pad storage. These little envelopes are also from Amazon. They are from the Cato brand, and they're perfect for these 6x6 papers. So now I can just flip through here and grab the paper pack I'm looking for and take it over to my desk and create something fun. So I will put the scraps in here. You can see I've got some scraps in the front, and then the full papers are in the back. I have this little cardstock in here only because it coordinates and I was making cards, so I had kind of a little kit. Otherwise, I would put that back in the envelope as a scrap. So the only thing, my complaint about these, and I'll mention something when I get to my stamp storage, but they do damage the paint on this shelf. So there's a little foot on there, so they kind of catch. You have to lift it up. So every time you're sliding that in and out, it's kind of messing up. But you know, that depends on your shelving. If you have like laminated shelves with a coating on it, that's not going to be an issue for you. So this is a really cool little find. Let me actually take this over to my desk and show you this up close. I absolutely love this method for storing my packets of bling, I like to call them. So enamel dots or sequins, just things of that nature. These are passport holders. So I bought a big bulk pack, Avery makes a pack of 10. This is an off-brand, and I will leave those listed below. But these just slide right in here. So they're heavy duty, and you can reuse these over and over and over again. Most of this type of product comes in like a flimsy packaging, and it doesn't, hold up well, and it's not meant to, be put in and out. So I store each little packet of bling in these, and now I do have some extras I need to sort through. I can flip through here just like this and see what I want to use for my project. So you can store front to back if you want. So you can put one on the front side and another one here to have, multiples. I don't, haven't had the need to do that because I don't have that many, but you could if you had a whole bunch. So anyway, I really, really like this. And you'll notice this tray has little dividers in there, so you can take those out if you want, but I do quite like them because I can just kind of flip through, and maybe this isn't full, I can only have a couple in here and they'll still stand up to where if I didn't have the divider they would all lean back. So I do think the divider is nice, and these come in a 2-pack and just a really great method for storing things like this. This would also be great for pocket cards. If you had pocket card collections, you could put them in here and flip through them much in the same manner. I do want to mention you could very easily add felt to the bottom of these, and then it wouldn't scratch your surface. So if you do have more of a soft wood surface, just put a little piece of felt on there. So over here I have another of the same type of bin as this one, and this has my embossing folders in it. So same thing, I could just flip through and pull out the embossing folder, and the ones in the back I just pull the whole tray out and find the embossing folder I need. I'm a little embarrassed that I didn't paint these. I really should have taken the time to do that, but that's okay. We're keeping it real, right? Down here I have these boxes. These are old. I think I got them from Michael's. And this one has Christmas cards. So in here I just have some photo Christmas cards. There's Jama and her beautiful family. So I put my paper handmade Christmas cards in a different location, but those are photo Christmas cards that I want to keep. And then this one has just randomness in it that I probably should go through and get rid of, to be honest with you. Do you guys remember these? The Die Cuts with a View quote stacks. Last time I did my craft room tour, I made a comment about, hey, I need to get rid of those if I don't use them. And here they are, still in there. You know what the problem is? They're out of sight, out of mind. So I need to see things, and that helps me remember to use them. On the very bottom shelf, we have stamps. Now, these are holders from Close to My Heart, and I'm going to show you the holders that I've been switching to, but these are working for now. They're custom sized for Close to My Heart stamps, so they work. And I have them boys and summer fun, sympathy and get well. I've got country themed stamps back there, and I think Halloween is back there. So those are working for now. And then let's move over to the center shelf. This is my favorite part of my craft room. It is my stamp collection. I love stamping on my projects. I love the versatility and how you can customize them and use them in so many different ways. I pretty much stamp on all of my scrapbook layouts. It's rare that I don't reach for my stamps. So this is a very well curated collection that represents my life, the activities we like to do, and therefore the photographs that I'm scrapbooking. So I store my stamps in categories. I know some people like to store them alphabetically, or they have some type of numerical system. My brain works in categories. So if I'm working on a hiking layout, but I don't know what stamps that I want to use, chances are I'm going to find it in my hiking outdoor adventure category. So I could just grab that bin, thumb through it, and find some images that inspire me. I do also store my stamps digitally. I've been using Evernote for years, and I do have a video tutorial dedicated to just stamp organization and how I use Evernote. Evernote's fantastic. It's perfect, really, except they started charging for their, the app. And it's expensive. So if you pay for the entire year, it's $10 a month, which that's kind of a steep cut when there's other things that you can use that don't cost anything. My friend Chelsea uses Notebook, and so I think I'm going to switch over to that. I actually already started dabbling with it, and it's good. It works in a similar way, but it's not quite as intuitive as Evernote. In Notebook, you have to go through and tag in the tag section. You have to add each of the descriptive words in the tags as to where Evernote searches them. Evernote can actually read the text on your stamp. So if sorry, my dog's kicking. Remember Moss lying in the middle of the floor? He just kicked my little tripod here. So where was I? Oh, if I'm looking for a stamp set that has the phrase summertime, all I have to do in Evernote is search summertime, and it's going to scan the text on all of those stamps and find anything that says summer, summertime, and then I can see them. There's a little like picture thumbnail, and I can see what I'm looking for, and it helps me to utilize my stamps. So you have to take the time to enter each one of those keyword phrases into OneNote or Notebook, excuse me, but it's free. And my friend Chelsea has a tutorial showing you how to do that, so I will leave that linked in the description box below. And speaking of Chelsea, this is a collaboration with all of the creative design team ladies. This month we are all sharing organizational type videos. So some will be sharing craft room tours like I am, and others will have just a specific organizing solution for something you might have in your craft room. So back to my stamp categories, I do have them all labeled. And what I've done here is I've created these labels on my Cricut. So they are on Velcro dots. I could take them off. This is a sticker paper. So I printed them. I designed this in Cricut Design Space and printed them through my printer, and then the Cricut cuts it out. And I've adhered that sticker to a piece of acetate that the Cricut cut into the same shape, and then I applied Velcro dots. So these look really nice, and I can swap them out as I want to maybe retitle. About once a year I go through. Sometimes a category gets full and I need to divide it into two categories, and that's when I would change up the titles. So I'll go ahead and give you a quick rundown of my titles, and then we'll move on to the next bookcase. So this particular bookcase itself is from IKEA. I went to IKEA to get a Billy bookcase and ended up getting this one instead because the dimensions were better, actually quite perfect for these little fabric bin holders here. So if you look at the top left, we've got alphabets, fonts, and numbers, dogs, cats, and miscellaneous animals, food, drinks, and treats, card sentiments, and then moving down we have travel, ocean, and tropical, hunting, fishing, and lake life, hiking, outdoor adventure. And then we have books and vintage, background textures, swirls and borders, journaling, everyday life, birthday. And then we have months of the year. So those are just stamps that have, pertain to a given month and are themed. Then we have spring and butterflies, garden and birds, floral. Then I have new stamps there on the left. So those are brand new, and I want to make the time to create with them. Title builder stamps, leaves, and winter, and then fall theme stamps. So the leaves were in with the fall stamps and it got full. So I had to split that and retitle it. Then down on the very bottom here, actually I need to put those away. I got caught not being organized. So down on the bottom, these are containers that were from Close to My Heart, and they held a lot of stamps. And these are more of the seasonal ones that I don't reach for. This entire bin on the right is Christmas. The whole thing's Christmas. And then on the left, I've got Easter, and then Father's Day and Mother's Day. And then I have boys and wedding. I actually need to retitle that because I moved all my boy stamps out. But again, the ones I don't use as often, I've got on the lower shelf. And then the ones I use more often are in the center, easy to grab. These gray fabric bins are from Lowe's Home Improvement. They can be found in the closet organization section, and you can order them online. So I love that they're fabric, so they don't damage the shelf in any way. They slide in and out perfectly, and they accommodate lots of different size stamps from different companies. They are approximately 7, actually I think I have a tag here. I do. I see it. I sometimes keep the tags so I know when I'm going to look at them online, I can find the information. They are 10.69 by 7.13 by 5.5. So basically 10.5 by 7 by 5.5. And Allen and Roth small storage bin. They do have larger bins, different size bins, so be mindful of that when you are searching online. But they are fantastic and have been holding up really nicely. Moving over to the last section of the bookshelf, you can see I have more cardstock. That is all my Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I have another little set of acrylic bins here, and this is full of washi tape. I use washi tape more in my journals and in my planner than I do in my scrapbook albums. And then here's another set of those acrylic drawers that I showed you on the other side, full of randomness. So these are some of the things you could store in these. We've got colored pencils. I've got some traveler's notebooks. This is like old bling that if I don't use it, I'm going to lose it kind of a thing. So I need to sort through there. And then we've got some more washi tape type stickers and just some randomness. These are like sentiment spots that were left over that I can grab and put on a card. So again, just like the other side, these aren't really utilizing the space very well. So I'm looking for an alternative. Moving down below, we have more pattern paper. So you can see I have the same paper envelopes that I had on the other side. You'll notice my bookshelf is very symmetrical. So I have the stamps in the middle, and then the left and right sides are balanced with symmetry because it looks nice. So here I have Stampin' Up! Current paper packs. These are paper packs from the annual catalog, and then I have some other categories here. Masculine, and this is more masculine and textures, and then I have travel, and then all of these papers here are outdoor adventures. So camping, hiking, fishing, anything you would do kind of outdoor adventure-y is going to be in that section. And then this paper holder here. So this is another one of those paper holders, but it's a different brand and it's just a smidge too tall. So that's why I have that turned on its side. So eventually I'll replace it with these, repurpose that one, and then I can have them all looking nice and uniform. Down below on the other side, we have, embossing folders and all of my bling. This is tiny little stamps. So it's a close to my heart container with just these little teeny tiny stamps. So those are all in there because that container fits them perfectly. And then I have an empty container. Oh, what will I fill it with? Oh, the possibilities. So that's another one of those containers like I showed you on the other side with the straight sides. And then moving down, we have more acrylic bins with dies. So these are all a bunch of different dies. These do get very heavy. In a perfect world, and I've asked my husband to maybe rig something up in his spare time to have this be able to slide out, because this is heavy and it's kind of a pain to lift it up and pull it out. So I want to be able to just pull this out, kind of like those sliding drawers, and then you could easily flip through it. Down here on the very bottom, this is full of flip-flaps. If you don't know what flip-flaps are, they are amazing. And I have a whole bunch of them here. I stocked up on the 4x4s when Close to My Heart announced the closure. But Stampin' Up! Carries these now. So you can add additional photos and journaling and just extra bits with these little clear. They are the same as the, oh my goodness, paper. Wow, what is the word I'm looking for? The page protectors. Oh my goodness, page protectors. So anyway, they have an adhesive strip and you could add extra photos to your layout without it looking cluttery and, photo heavy. This one, I don't know what's in here. Oh, I know what's in here. Oh my goodness, look at the dust. So this is just some old keepsake stuff. Look at this tiny little book I made a long time ago. Let's actually go look at my shelf over on my desk real quick. I don't make a lot of stuff like this because it's like, what do you do with it? But it's so cute. Look at the boys. That's Clayton. Clayton's 18 now. Oh my goodness, how cute. You guys, this is why we scrapbook. This is just so fun to look back at this. We have a apple ranch in our town that just goes all out for fall, and there's a train and the pumpkin patch, and this little goat ended up coming home with us. Okay, look, I totally got distracted walking down memory lane. Let's get back to the room tour. We'll put that back in the box. Look at this. This is so cute. This is like a pop-up card a customer made me way back in the day, and I thought it was so cute. They printed out these little close to my heart catalogs and made it look like a bookshelf, but it's a card. Paper crafters are so clever. Really, really fun. I love the paper crafting community. Don't judge me on the dust there. I obviously missed that when I was prepping for my room tour. So here is the far wall, and do you remember in the beginning when I said we made this window shorter because I wanted a standing desk? So I have a standing desk, and these are from IKEA. They're cheap. They work, and that's why so many people use them in their craft room. You know, they're not like the most amazing table. They're very lightweight, but they're very affordable. So over here, I have my die cutting station. You can see my die cutting machine. This is my Epson printer. This is the PictureMate 400. It's amazing. I print all of my photos, and it just does a beautiful job. I've got my Cricut here. And I've got a little dust cover on it. I think I got that at Amazon. And then over here on the wall, I have another command hook, and these are my Cricut mats. So that's really perfect. I have this pulled out so there's room behind it. And if you're wondering what that is, yeah, that's an eyesore. I tried to kind of hide it. We thought about building a cabinet over it, but you know what? I painted it. It's recessed back here, and it doesn't bother me. This is the electrical panel for the house. Back in the day, this was a barn. It was a sheep barn. So when we just kind of started building and moved in, it was a big project to put that on the outside of the house. So it's there. This is a magnetic die cut board. I made this along with my husband. So what it is, those are individual like 8x10 adhesive back magnetic sheets. So I got a piece of galvanized steel, very thin galvanized steel, and I stuck the magnets to it. And then we mounted that to a piece of plywood, and then my husband trimmed it out and hung it on the wall. So I normally put my most used dies on this, but as you can see, I need to update them for the season. So for fall, I'll put out my fall leaves, and I'm not really using those right now, so I will put out others. But these nesting dies I use all the time. So circles and triangles and just, very usable shapes. I reach for them often, so they are on my magnet board here. So moving over, these fabric drapes, they're like little blinds that you can just easily put up and down. These are from Lowe's. I'm sure you can get them at any home improvement store. These are perfect for crafting because they let the light in, but they're like diffuse the light. So you don't have any harsh shadows. So if you are a content creator, that's important because you don't want shadows on your projects while you're filming. So let's go down underneath the desk here. I have one of those, I think they call them a Rascog cart. And this is kind of my dedicated space for my planners. I'm a planner gal and I love to journal. So that's kind of where all of those things are. I've got some sticker books in the bottom. This is my my July through December planners in that purple box. I'm using a Sprouted planner this year. I've tried Happy planners, all sorts of planners. So that's my planner for this year. And it's a daily, so there's 2 of them. And then, like I said, sticker books. And these are just like papers in here that I might use. They're mainly Happy Planner. I've got some old Happy Planners I've repurposed there. And these are journals where I jot down ideas for videos or maybe sketch ideas. I just grab one of those books and jot down my idea because brains are meant for coming up with ideas, not for storing them. Now these are super old, very, very old. and I think they are We Are Memory Keepers from back in the day, but they've really held up. So originally I had them on top of my bookshelf, but it was a little too tall for me. So I moved them down here underneath my desk, and these are seasonal papers. So these are more pattern papers. So I've got Christmas, more Christmas, winter, fall, and Halloween. And then I've got Disneyland. Yes, I've got a whole section. Well, actually, it's really not that full. Disneyland, I need to label this. These are like Valentine type papers, spring and Easter, and then these are summertime. So I've got the seasons and the holidays here, and that really does help limit my search when I'm looking for papers. So instead of searching through, all of these pattern papers, I can narrow it down, and maybe if I'm looking for a summertime one, I only have to search through those. So super handy. This is just a stand for my laptop when I'm doing computer work, or maybe have a Zoom and I want my laptop propped up. And then these are more like photo backdrops. So I'll show you this when we get over to my desk, but they're like vinyl coated backdrops you can get on Amazon with different textures. Most people are using these in their videos because it looks nice and it protects your desk. We're making our way around the room, and we have arrived at my desk where I do all of my scrapbooking, card making, and film my videos. So I'll show you my filming setup. It's super simple, very low tech, but I've got my ink here, and then all of my supplies that I use on every project. So I want those within an arm's reach. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. In the beginning of the video, I mentioned the low ceilings on this side of the room being an issue. I scrapbook standing up. So when I designed this room, my intent was to have this workspace at standing level. But we ran into an issue. If the desk was at standing level, the shelf would have been higher, and there would have been very little room up top of the shelf, and I would have lost a lot of space. So I just make it work. But let's head on over here to this fun area. We have several different organizing solutions in this area. So this is a fun area. We've got lots of colorful inks and markers, lots of pretty things here. So you do not need every ink from every company. You absolutely do not. I recommend that you find one company and stick with their collection of inks. They usually have coordinating cardstock, and that just really simplifies the process when everything coordinates. So I was with Close to My Heart. These are all Close to My Heart inks. I was with them for over 15 years, close to 17 years. So I primarily used Close to My Heart, and I absolutely love their inks. I still use them and have coordinating cardstock, still have a lot of pattern papers that go with these colors. So these are stackable trays. These were from Close to My Heart, created to store these ink pads. So they fit perfectly, and it's like a modular stacking unit. Stampin' Up! Does have something very similar. They're white and they have a little marker holder. I decided to go with the Stampin' Storage option for my Stampin' Up! Inks. So this is one big unit from Stampin' Storage, and it's designed to hold the ink pad, the marker, and the re-inker all in one place. I love to be organized, and this is a place I spend most of my days. So I want it to be very functional, and I want it to be a nice place to be in. When it's chaotic, I find myself lacking creativity when I'm kind of drowning under a mess. So I like everything to be in its place. This marker holder is also from Stampin' Storage, and these are the, I almost said Close to My Heart. These are the markers, the Stampin' Blends from Stampin' Up! I also have these markers. These are Tombow dual tip brush pens, and these I use for my planners and my journals. So they're different, and these markers would soak right through your planner pages because they're an alcohol marker. These are a water-based ink, so they will not soak through your papers. They work in a different way and serve a whole different purpose. So you can see I only have some of the colors there. So moving over, I do have like a stamp cleaner up there, some shimmer spray, and then just a water bottle. And then here is, you can put random things in these too. So this is like a little palette of gold metallic paints, and it happened to fit there, so I put it there. That's a little travel stamp scrubby there. I've got my Versamark and StazOn ink over there, and that works really well. So if we move over, these are my Tombow markers. So a lot of these sadly are drying out. You can get refills for these markers. These are the tri-blends. They say that the refills are not for these, but I do have refills for several of these colors and they work great. So the refills I find at Dick Blick, which is an online art supply store. So I do love the Tombows. They're 3 colors in one. You've got the dark, the medium, and the light. They're a bullet tip, so when I want to spend a lot of time coloring, I reach for those. If I want to color quickly, which is usually the case, I reach back over for these. Plus, depending on what product I'm using, if these coordinate with the inks, and they have a brush tip on one side and a bullet tip on the other, so you can color very quickly. I don't like to spend a ton of time coloring, so I do appreciate that brush tip. Now this up here is actually a tiered nail polish holder. I got that at TJ Maxx, and you can see it works perfectly for all of my little liquid pearls, my stickles. I've got some Dina Wakley like gloss sprays up top, and I don't have a lot of those. I don't use those all the time, but they are fun to create with. We will talk about this shelf in just a moment once we get through the top section here. So here's one more of those little acrylic bins, and I've got some washi tape in there. This is full of white cardstock scraps. This is probably my most used little bin. I use these all the time for stamping, so I keep those in there. And then I have some die cut like sentiment spots ready to go. So just random little bits that are decorative shapes. Here, I'll get these down so you can see them. Just decorative shapes like this, where you can stamp a sentiment and put it on a card. So circles, just randomness, ready to go. Again, left over from other projects, but something I do utilize. So then we have just some little ink blending foams. I do prefer the blending brushes, but those have their place. I'm just scooting my little stand over here. So this is my high-tech filming. It's a wooden shim. I've shared this several times before. A wooden shim from my husband's shop. I weighed it down with that. My phone rests right on that and looks down at my desk, and then I clip a lapel, just a $9 lapel microphone to that, and that is how I film all of my scrapbook tutorials. Pretty fancy, right? I do have the canvas lamp. That is fabulous. I've done a review here on my channel comparing the canvas lamp and the Archon if you're interested in that. And I use that for traveling when I scrapbook at a friend's house or retreats. I take the canvas lamp. So you're probably wondering what's in all of these little jars underneath here. So this is something I really don't utilize very much of. Trends come and go with scrapbooking. For a while there, we were all mad about buttons and we put buttons on everything, right? I really don't I use these more often, like I'll rummage through here to find a button to fix some clothing more often than I put them on my scrapbook layout. I tend to use them more when my boys were little because they're cutesy, now they're rough and tumble and masculine, and the buttons just don't jive with their photos. These little jars are from Walmart. They had a 99-cent candle in there, so I'd burn the candle, clean out the jar, and I use it for bling. So really, some of it's functional here, like I have rubber bands in there, just a random thing. There's some googly eyes, hearts. Every once in a while, you'll find a random sticker that I found like on the floor and don't know where it goes, so I just put it there. That's the word adventure. I will highly likely use that. So lots of different bits and bobs that I should probably go through and either use them or lose them. On the top of these, let's go back over here really quick. I keep chapstick in here. Always got to have chapstick. In the top of here is a color swatch chart for Stampin' Up! Cardstock. And then, look at this is random. Habit tracker Post-it notes for my planner. I don't know why I put them there, but they're there. And then these are just some phone holders. And then these are old blades that they're maybe too dull for cardstock, so now I use them to cut glitter paper, magnets when I need to trim them down, things like that. So I keep those old blades in there. So let's start moving down to the drawers behind or below the desk. Again, these are all IKEA desks, and then these are the Alex drawers, which I kind of love and I kind of hate. So like I said, they're very inexpensive. Let's go over here. Now, mind you, I do have my die cutting machine here. So this drawer right here is full of my die cutting plates. So anything I need for my die cutting machine is in here. I've got extra plates, my embossing, all of that is easy to reach right next to the embossing machine. And then below that I don't go, notice these drawers are the farthest from where I sit. So these are kind of extra items. So I've got some extra scissors, little just packets of bling. These are for shaker cards. So, which I don't make a whole lot of shaker cards. So again, I kind of put them over here. And then I've got extra Fiskars cutting blades there. This is photo op stuff. So sometimes, I really don't use this often either. Are we noticing a trend here? These are things that maybe like photo props. If I'm photographing artwork, mainly cards, I don't use props for my scrapbook layouts. And then this is my embossing drawer. So I have some basic neutral embossing powders. I've got an embossing anti-static pouch. I have 2 embossing guns. They do work differently. Heat guns. And then these are rubber brayers for some mixed media projects. So those are just in there because they fit. And then the bottom drawer here is a bag of old ribbon that I just can't part with. So I am getting good about reaching in here. And then these are photo place card holders from workshops from close to my heart that I just didn't end up using because I had my photos. Moving over, we have another set. This is the wide set of Alex drawers. And on top here, I've got my Misty, I've got my Versamats. There's a layout I need to photograph and share. I have my little Misties here. So they're right next to me. I use these every time I create. So they're right underneath here. They fit in this space perfectly. And I could just reach for them when I am sitting down to scrapbook. So this is where I sit. So these drawers are directly to the right of me. In the top drawer, we have my paper trimmers. So I've got 2 full-size paper trimmers. These are Fiskars, and you don't need 2, but I often will craft with friends. So I have an extra one so we don't have to share. It's my little mini trimmer. I've got my Post-it removable tape for die cutting, and then a T-square ruler. In the second drawer down, I have a scoreboard, and then this is a tray. So I'll pull this out if I am working on a project. I put all the embellishments in here, and then it keeps it organized on my desk while I'm crafting. And then we have punches from Stampin' Up, and then some assorted punches in the back that, I don't use very often. I put the ones in front that I use the most often, which are these here. I use tons of these on my cards for fillers, and then a file punch is super handy, and then of course circles. I use those all the time. And then this is my photo drawer. So I've got, or my photo printing supply drawer. I print all of my own photos. So I've got photo paper. I have an extra ink cartridge at all times. And actually my Epson printer fits in here. So that's why this is open. When I need to clear off my desk, I put the printer in here. It doesn't need to be out all the time. So here's some larger photo paper. And there is my Avery clear sticker paper, which I use for journaling. If you've watched my videos, you've seen me use that. It's pretty cool. And then this is like a little Canon mini printer that I use for traveling. So it's just kind of a fun little thing. I don't use it that often, but if I'm traveling and working on a traveler's notebook, I will take that with me. This drawer is kind of my organizing supplies for my stamps. So we have magnets. I've showed before how I will repackage my, depending on what company they come from, to save space, I will repackage them in these envelopes. So this is, these come together. You get the envelope and this sheet here. So the orange side is designed to house the stamps. So the stamps will stick to this, your clear stamps, and then you can put the coordinating dies on the magnetic side, and then you slip them into those envelopes. These are more of those passport holders for the bling. And then I have extra magnets. These are from old die sets. These are the big magnets that I use to create that magnet board. So just different magnets, and I will, magnets are expensive. So I will grab from here if I need a magnetic sheet for any reason. I've got extra. Remember how I said I went crazy? Bought extra blending brushes. Here's some extra markers. So I've got some backups for the ones that I couldn't get re-inkers for. I still have just some of my more used colors. I do use a lot of orange when I'm coloring like fall leaves and things like that. The bottom drawer here is more overflow storage. This is all adhesive. So a crafter never wants to run out of adhesive, right? It happens and you're like, oh rats, what am I gonna do now? So I have tape runner refills, glue dots, foam tape. That's another thing I went crazy. When Close to My Heart announced they were closing, like everybody panicked. There was some serious like hoarder stuff going on. And I got caught up in it myself, but this is something I'm totally going to use. So foam tape, these are Stampin' Dimensionals, which are like little squares. And then these are shaker foam and acetate for shaker cards. So like slimline, and I more or less bought it for the foam. So that's what's in that drawer. Moving over to my desk area, you can see I have one of those vinyl backdrops for photography. And again, we use these because they look nice in the videos and it protects your work surface. These IKEA tables do stain easily and they chip as well. So these are pretty inexpensive. It's got a coating on it. It's not completely waterproof, but it does last for a long time. I've got my mini die cutting machine here. So if I just need to die cut something super quick, I can just use that rather than walking over to my table. We have our most used crafting supplies. So I've got lots of scissors, my Bearly Art crafting glue, and then I have like a pickup tool, just different things, paper piercer, tweezers, Cricut spatula. Here's a couple blending brushes that I've been using and just have not put away. And then we have shimmer brushes. These are all shimmer brushes from Close to My Heart. We have some colored pencils, and then I have some mixed media supplies, paintbrushes and spatulas. I have an OTT light. It's OTT. This is from Amazon. I've had several different OTT lights. These are really nice for crafting. You can angle this one, and it has like a dimmer switch. So I have that just for some, side lighting to get rid of any shadows. And then this shelf, this was actually, this is in my last craft room too. A family member made this custom for me. So I basically took the setup in my small craft room and moved it into here because the filming worked perfectly. I told my husband, hang it at the exact height because it's just the right height for a double page scrapbook layout. So we've got all these little drawers, and this one here holds sewing stuff. So I've got sewing needles and pins, thread, and just different sewing related, items. I don't really sew. I can sew a straight line. I've hemmed curtains, and I can sew a button on or fix a tear, but that's the extent of my sewing. This is acetate and shaker card stuff. So that's all, custom stuff for making shaped shaker cards. Close to My Heart had some really cool shaker card stuff. So that's what that drawer is. Moving over here, I have a mini stapler, a crocodile, and some crocodile eyelets in there. I do use those. They are still pretty cool. This drawer is a Dymo label maker and all of the extra labels. So I use that to label my things in my craft room. Moving over here, this is just tech stuff. So microphones, nothing really fancy in there. This one here has, remember these Xyron makers, create a sticker. So just in a Xyron refill, you know, I could probably better utilize these drawers, but that's what's in there. And then this one has just some old tools. There's a little hole punch. There's a hammer, which I never use anymore. Remember the hammers? We all had the eyelets. They were so noisy. And then I have some extra like Cricut blades in there that are super nice and sharp. Really love those replacement blades. So yeah, just little treasures tucked into each of those. So let's move over to the far side of my desk here. Sorry, trying not to make you dizzy. So on the opposite side, on my left side where I am crafting, I have in this top drawer all of my go-to supplies. So we've got adhesives, and we've got tape runners and foam tape, some pop dots. I've got glue dots, red line tape. These are my removable glue dots that I hold my layouts down with. And then I have some rub and remove erasers, my all-purpose mats. This is like a pierce mat here, just some more foam tape. So things I'm using all the time. These inserts are from IKEA and they're designed to go in these Alex drawers. So that is really nice. They fit perfectly. In the next drawer down, I have all of my stamping blocks. This is my stamp chamois, so I get this wet and lay it in here so then I can stamp and just clean it off and then put my block away. So that's handy. Underneath here, I have the stamp scrubber. And then moving down, we have ribbon. So these ribbon holders are from Close to My Heart. That was part of their modular system. So I apologize, those are no longer available. Then I have twine. I do use the twine a lot. And then I have all of my Close to My Heart shimmer trims. Just love those. Then I have more space for ribbon, another all-purpose mat, some like microfiber towels in there. And then this is Dave's tie. And he has a bow tie for when we need to dress up around the office. Super important there. And Dave's such a character. In the bottom drawer, I have my little stamp, ink blending foams. So I do have one per color, and I put these in little coin bags. These are 2x2 zip top coin bags from Amazon, and I store those in alphabetical order. So those are super handy to have those in there, and I've showed those before here on my channel. We have arrived at the last set of drawers. So this is kind of where I have all my office themed things. I like to sit here when I'm sending out thank you cards. So I scrapbook and film content in that chair over there. And when I'm journaling, I like to look out the window, or like I said, writing thank you cards, I sit here. So I put things for that in these drawers here. So if you look in this top drawer, I have all office related supplies. So post-it notes and stamps and envelope moisteners, just highlighters, just correction tape, you know, another label maker. That's actually my son's girlfriend, and you can use an app on the phone. So she brought that over for me to try, and it's pretty handy. The second drawer is not utilized. So these are some cards I've created that I need to take pictures of before I post them on social media. And I do want to show you something. So I discovered, now remember, these are from IKEA. And if you go back over here to my ribbon drawer, you know, my ribbon holders are from Close to My Heart. So those are no longer available. Check that out. It is a perfect ribbon holder. Just perfect, like it was made for it. So you could use these and put ribbon in all of these little things from IKEA. And the only problem with these is they don't open all the way. That's my biggest complaint about the IKEA drawers. You can't really easily access what's in the back. So I just wanted to show you, I discovered that. I thought that was a pretty good little find. So if you don't have a ribbon holder, you can consider these. So anyway, underutilized drawer. And then this one here is thank you cards ready to go. So we have envelopes and lots of thank you cards. I've got some bubble mailers here that are already addressed. I've got them flipped over so you don't see the address. I like to send thank you cards to my customers and little gifts just to show how much I appreciate them. This is like office supply stuff. We have tape for mailing packages. Of course, just some cords. I put all my charging cords in there. And then in the bottom drawer, we just have labels and more bubble envelopes. So like I said, office supply stuff, not very exciting, but a necessity for my business. So this is where I sit when I'm journaling or writing thank you cards, and I would love to show you the view of the yard, but it's dark out right now, so it would just be blackness if we open the window. These little shelves, these are tiny little wall-mounted bookshelves from IKEA, and they're perfect. They fit this space just perfectly, and I use them to either store cards I just created where I want to enjoy them and just draw inspiration from them, or when customers send me cards, I will put them on display here. So these are some cards I recently made, and I did a new catalog walkthrough and I showed these cards. I like to, when I first get product, I like to make cards, and it kind of gets those creative juices flowing and you get acquainted with the product, and then you can, or then I like to move to scrapbook papers. There's some more. And if you know, you know. You guys know Dave if you've been hanging around my channel for a while. So on the left here, we have my closet space. So I've got two bifold doors. We'll go ahead and open that up. I've got all sorts of extra storage here in my closet. Now this is one of those Kallax units or Kallax units, I don't know how you say it, from IKEA. And this I actually bought when my boys were little. This was in their bedroom. It housed all their toys. So you could put like fabric bins in these, and some of them held their clothes and others were full of toys. As the boys got older, they didn't have all those little toys, and we moved it into our pantry where it stored food and pantry related items, and now it's come full circle back into this room, and it is scrapbook supplies. So you see a lot of these in craft rooms, and I think they're great for certain things. They're not so great for other things. So for albums or paper storage, they're fabulous. They fit perfectly. But if you're trying to store like stamps and things in here side by side, I don't feel like you could really utilize the space that well. So they have their place, but you know, I don't know if they're like the, you know, must-have item for every craft room, even though a lot of us have them. So let's go ahead and take a closer look. In this top left-hand corner, this is specialty paper. I still need to organize these and put them into envelopes. I have some empty envelopes here. It's glitter paper, foil paper, vellum acetate. I keep some cardboard. These are packaging that protects paper from being bent when it's shipped. Those are great for miscellaneous projects. So that is what all that is. This is backup cardstock. Another thing I went crazy when Close to My Heart closed down. So white and black, and then I have some of my most used colors. I use a lot of blues and greens, and then these turned sideways are retired colors, but I still reach for them. You guys, surprisingly, this, I had 2 cubes full of paper, and it's not even, well, Close to My Heart closed down in March, and I've already like gone through several reams of paper, and I'm whittling this down pretty quick. So cardstock is something I use a lot of. In here I have another one of those acrylic trays, and it's full of embellishments. So I just kind of tuck things in here and I can flip through. We've got some stickers and just random bits and pieces. These are embellishment cases that have eyelets and brads and things like that. Here I have some random miscellaneous mini albums. And then I just have a box of catalogs there. In this shelf, I have several different things. So this is a 12 by 12 album full of stencils. This is how I organize my stencils. I feel like this is a very popular option. A lot of crafters use this for their stencil storage because it keeps them protected and it keeps them from getting bent or damaged, and you can easily flip through it. So this is a 12 by 12 D-ring album. All of my albums are close to my heart. So unfortunately, these specific albums, I cannot give you a link to these. However, Stampin' Up! Is coming out with their own albums, both D-ring and post-bound albums. And I know they're going to have black, so that's the rumor. I'm super happy about that. But I'll let you know how those are once I have the option to try them. So this is just page protectors, and I store my stencils in here. I put a piece of cardstock in between, so I have a stencil on each side. The piece of cardstock keeps them from catching on each other when you slide them in and out. So these are my 12 by 12 stencils, and then if you flip towards the back, you can see I have smaller stencils just kind of overlapped in there. And yeah, it's fabulous for stencil storage. So I highly recommend this option if you have a lot of stencils in your collection. So there's some I still need to sort and organize into their own little pouches. On this same shelf, I have a regular office binder for my ephemera, and I absolutely love this. It's working great. These are those peel and stick photo sheets. I get these on Amazon, and I know that we all grew up with these and they wrecked our photos and they were terrible, but they are now acid-free, archival safe. I've been using this for a couple years. I have friends that have been using it longer, and I can just peel my ephemera bits right off of here. So this is a great way to store those leftover bits or extra bits. Maybe you finished up a collection and you had a few pieces left over. And these are kind of paperboard, thick chipboard. Maybe doesn't work as well in these, but the paperboard shapes or flat stickers are fantastic. So yeah, I can flip through here, which I do often. I'm making a good dent in it, and it's helping me utilize these, because before I didn't know what I had, or I didn't remember what I had. So now I can clearly see it and just pull these out and put them to use. Aren't these cute? Fellow crafter sent these to me, and I cannot wait to use them. This is awesome. We actually have horses and we go on pack trips in the mountains, so I am excited to use that. Also on this shelf, I have lots of idea books. I love using sketches. They are a vital tool in my craft room, so I've got lots of sketchbooks. These are actually all from the creative design team. We have 6 by 8, 8.5 by 11, 12 by 12. We even have 12 by 12 layouts utilizing 6 by 6 paper pads. So they are a digital download. I do have these bound. I was having them bound at my local office supply store, but then we discovered these like portfolio books, and these are really nice for storing your sketches. I'll show you these real quick right here. So like I said, they're portfolio, and they have plastic sleeves so you can print them out at home. And this is a much more economical way of organizing your sketchbooks as opposed to having them professionally printed. All of our sketchbooks, yes, this is a little shameless plug for our sketchbooks, but they're fabulous. They all come complete with measurements, so it takes the guesswork out of creating so you can get more done. And that is Dave's bed right there. He likes to hang out when he's not looking down from the bookshelf. He hangs out right there. I also have current catalogs here, and then this is my Hemlock and Oak daily planner. It's not a planner, well, it is a planner, but I use this for a daily journal. I am absolutely loving this project. This is 2025, so I don't have a whole lot in here, but I just document my life. It's my journal. It gives me a chance to play with my stamps, and it's kind of like a play-by-play of what I did, what was going on. You can see I was sick, currently reading, the weather, family dinner night. Just a really fun way to document and journal and use your stamps. My big old stamp collection. So that just lives right there where I can grab that very easily. We'll zoom out so we can quickly look at the rest of this. So I've got catalogs. These are page protectors ready to go into albums as I create layouts. These are older albums, and they're not, they don't fit with the aesthetic of the rest of them, so they're hidden in here. So they're still accessible, but not on the open shelf. So these are some pre-scored envelopes or cards and envelopes, and then extra albums here. That's a card organizer. These are Stampin' Up! Kits, and 99% of those boxes are empty. Once I use the kit up, I like to use these boxes for mailing gifts. They're really nice little boxes, very sturdy. And then these are cards. So the thank you cards are over in the thank you card bin, and these are like thinking of you and sympathy, extra Christmas cards. I try to make Christmas cards year round so it's not Christmas card chaos come December. These are just different albums. Like this is more like a team reference binder where I have information, calendar of events. This is a calligraphy handwriting binder. And then I actually have an 8.5 by 11 album. I don't do a lot of that, but that's what that is. And then my 6 by 8 albums, these are December dailies. And then I have the Close to My Heart sketchbooks in those small 6 by 8 albums. So if you pan up to the top really quickly, I have a basket and it has tech stuff in it. So my ring light lives up there, tripods, and then I just have some organizers for when I travel. So this is a Molly Ollie tote, and then that's like a Stampin' Up tote. So again, those are for travel. This is a travel battery powered light that I take with me. And then just some empty boxes. Okay, this one does say layouts, but I have filed all of those layouts. So those are actually empty. Up top is a Close to My Heart organizer full of like little tiny individual bins, and I'm not using it because I just haven't figured out what to use it for. It's meant for like photos, but I don't store extra photos. This is my Cricut heat press. I've got the medium size heat press there. I have made a few like t-shirt apparels and things like that. It's kind of fun to play with. And then I have over here, crammed in the corner to utilize the space, this is like a bag, travel bag. Just different, both of those are travel bags. And then honestly, that's an empty box that I just haven't pulled out yet. My favorite thing about my new space is the window. I love being able to look outside. It does wonders for my mood. My previous craft room did not have a window, and sometimes I felt like I was in a cave and just needed to get out. I'm also very grateful for the extra counter space and additional chair. This is an amazing hobby, and being able to share it with others is so rewarding. My sister, my bestie, and my son's girlfriend, they do come over and craft with me, so I'm very grateful for that extra space to accommodate them. And please know, you do not need to have all of this stuff to make scrapbook layouts or cards. I have accumulated a lot of supplies over the 20 plus years, but I started out at the kitchen table with a single tote and I was happy as can be. Don't forget to head on over to my fellow creative design team member friends to see what type of organizing solutions they have to share with you. You never know, it might be the perfect solution for a trouble spot in your own craft room. You can find those videos right here. And thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope you were inspired by my crafty space.